I can't see. I'm like, ugh, my eyes. Okay.
Hey,
Oh, we're recording. Ha! Okay, there we
cool.
go. All right, everybody. I usually get the like, hey, we're recording, whatever. And this is going in our episode, by the way, because I don't
Nice.
edit.
There we go. That's okay. That's fine.
All
That's fine.
right, so welcome to the next episode of the Prop Tech Genius Show. And today's genius is Kevin Sonnet. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having
Welcome.
me.
I'm just so excited. We were having a discussion before I hit record, that his name was easy to pronounce. And we were just like going,
Yeah,
I've had some doozies on
there
this
you go.
show. And
You're
I
welcome.
like always forget to ask if you watch any of the other episodes, it's like, damn it, I
Yeah,
forgot to ask how to pronounce your name. And I leave everything in because
yeah,
I'm the laziest podcaster ever. I think I'm going to own that
that's right.
title.
One
I
take. That's it.
don't edit anything. Like I
There you go.
don't
Fine.
edit anything. Yeah, I know. Why? Why? Because, that's just like, I don't know. It's the only way I can produce the content because I am not a video editor and I am too cheap
Yeah.
to pay for one. So
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, priorities too, right? You got other
yeah,
stuff to do.
exactly. It's about telling the story. Anyway, so that's what this is supposed to be, is just a conversation. So we get to learn
Beautiful.
all about you, Kevin,
Nice.
and what
Nice.
you've been up to and what you're
Yeah.
doing and how you're changing the
Sure.
world and what
Yeah.
you do after you put your cape on every day and go try to go save the world.
There you
So
go. There
this
you
is going
go.
to be awesome. So
I'll start.
I'll let you introduce yourself to my
Yeah. Yeah. I'll start from the
lovely
top. So, I'm Kevin. I'm the founder and CEO of PropChain, and uh, I founded it less than a year ago. So we're pretty early stage.
eye.
Our mission is to just revolutionize the real estate market, address critical inefficiencies. The transactions are slow, and what I mean by transactions is just the search to discovery to purchase process is just really slow, and there's really ways to make that efficient. So, but beyond that inefficiency, there's the data. It's the stuff that is available is outdated, not that useful, sometimes incorrect, maybe most of the time incorrect, and unstandardized. And there's limited foresight into sort of market trends, or maybe plenty of insight into forecasted market trends, but nothing that's much accessible or useful, at least on a mobile platform. That's what our plan is. So at PropChain, we use AI, blockchain, and our own data network just to provide real-time accurate data to streamline those transactions so that buyers, sellers, investors, portfolio managers can make informed decisions quickly and securely. So we're trying to be that one-stop solution for property discovery, valuation, renovation, secure transactions, and just be a comprehensive prop tech ecosystem at the end of the day.
So how are you doing your valuations?
It is so we have a pretty complete algorithm.
Mhm.
It's not that crazy. There are plenty of existing evaluation mechanisms that are out there on the market.
Right.
It's a combination of just taking the data that we like to rely on, plus additional data that we kind of scrape from the internet, and of course current market data. So we pulled that into an algorithm, and it spits out not just like building property evaluations, but neighborhood market algorithms, so evaluations. So
Yeah.
without getting too much into the nitty gritty, I mean,
No, yeah, and
yeah,
yeah, don't give away your IP, but
yeah,
but it is the thing that I just see going forward that appraisers might become a thing of the past, and we're going to
yeah,
rely on more and more algorithmic models using
yeah,
AI to do
yeah,
better real estate valuations. No offense, appraisers, but
yeah,
there's not enough of you. We're about
right,
to have a tsunami of real estate transactions because
yeah,
everybody's just been hanging tight. And as soon
yeah,
as interest rate drops, we're going to be in a whirlwind again.
yeah,
And there aren't enough appraisers to go around. And
yeah, and
so, and if the lender is requiring an appraisal at the
right,
end of the day, that's going to hold up a lot of transactions. So I just see that that is kind of a good way for AI or a prop tech to
yeah,
kind of get in there and really, really do a good effort around, okay, how do we get this? How do we streamline this at least a little bit to where maybe we just AI enable an appraiser, right? And so
yeah,
they can just process through a bunch of stuff and they're just doing QC checks and things like that.
yeah. So it's funny you say that too. So a pretty important part of our sort of like valuation and algorithm is it's not just I don't know. It's not just grabbing data from external sources that everybody sort of has access to, because then it's not useful, at least from our standpoint. We want to sort of like differentiate ourselves and, make it worthwhile. And what we're doing actually is, and this actually originated from a separate feature that we're kind of, that kind of started this whole thing, which is I won't get into it yet. Maybe I'll circle back to it, but I actually was just talking to a person who I used to work with, and they actually have a friend who's in LiDAR. So he basically can make or make sort of like a LiDAR solution, which is something that you could find on, Uber or, their automated cars, or, not Uber, but whatever that other company is. And we could essentially just scan properties and get a great understanding to cracks and foundations, to
Yeah.
all different types of things. And that's going to basically be an additional data source, one of a couple that we're going to be ingesting, just to get a real understanding of what that sort of like property,
Yeah.
stage is at, what kind of
Yeah.
condition it's in.
Yeah, we're
So
kind of doing the same thing as far as a lot of that, right? So we're a digital twin platform. And so
cool, nice.
yeah, as we, expand and aggregate more data, things like that are super unique and super, just like, who would have thought? I mean, people are driving
Yeah,
around in Ubers all the time.
yeah,
Why not
yep,
use that? That's super groovy. That's a really cool
yeah.
tool. Sure. Yeah.
It just comes down to, like anybody who's kind of involved in, software development or, big data. It
Yep.
basically comes down to like data storage and cloud storage and the
Yep.
costs involved, because
Yep.
I don't know, one of the biggest risks involved in this whole sort of thing is those kinds of costs and the risk of overrun. So as long as you have those controlled, I mean, I think you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, and it's using the ability, unique ways and of collecting data, right? Thinking
Yeah,
about it that way, and how people are interacting with buildings and in a good way. I mean, you can use your tenants to do the same thing. Like if your
yeah,
tenants are taking video of what a work order is, well, you use that data, right? As it comes in, it's
exactly.
like exhaust data. So it's yes, we're using it for a specific function, but it could also be used in other multitude of ways, right?
Yeah,
And so it's once you capture the data, don't just use it for one purpose. Let's see how else we can use it. And I think that's going to be a big shift in the industry for
yeah,
sure. On
yeah.
we're
Just yeah.
collecting all this data. How can else how else is it useful for
Right.
sure?
It's like
Right.
multifaceted data, kind of
Yeah.
keep that in mind and be imaginative. And, provided that you sort of like have a like a back end person that has sort of, can set data structures up that, can accommodate for that sort of, ambiguity going forward, to know, to adapt, to have your data adapt to those certain different sort of, uses, then you're in great shape.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome for sure.
And
Yeah. So
should I get into like my journey, or
yes. Yeah, that's where we want to go. So where'd you start? Where were
nice.
you at?
Yeah. So I started in global finance. Um,
I'm
big,
sorry.
yeah, I know.
I'm just
It was exhausting. It was really exhausting. And not that like any sort of small private startups are any less exhausting, but it's
mhm.
certainly more interesting in that space. And that's sort of what dragged me in. So started in global finance, later transitioned into like the Web3 space, which is like, the sort of novel technologies like blockchain, distributed ledgers, and, AI, and all those fun concepts. And in the Web3 space, I worked on blockchain technologies and decentralized systems. So it was there that I saw the potential for, Web3 and other sort of technologies to help revolutionize, real estate, which has a knack for just, not, embracing the digital age. And I guess it's fine because they didn't have to for so long. But at this point, it's
Right.
become a real tipping point. So I noticed
Yeah.
that real estate in particular was lagging behind, and the data accessibility was an issue, like I said earlier, and transaction speed stunk, and the transparency wasn't transparent. So I realized that I could bring my expertise in finance and Web3 to create a platform that, like PropStream, that leverages those technologies to solve these problems. And, it's been going on for so long, these issues or inefficiencies associated with the market, that, it's probably time for like an outsider to come solve them. So that's why I'm here.
Ah, very, very cool. So how long ago, you said a year ago, you started prop chain, right?
Yeah, less than a year ago.
Yeah.
I think like 8 months ago. But
Yeah.
we've been moving pretty quickly. I mean, the business plan's done, the prototype, the designing, the branding. We have an MVP app out that's, being worked on, or at least
Mhm.
tested in a
Yeah.
closed alpha.
Very
And
cool. Yeah.
because there's a lot of R&D involved in this. So, we have a
I
technical
know.
roadmap that has a couple of really cool features associated with it, and
Yep.
we plan to ship them strategically as we develop them, and get them live to our users.
Yeah, for sure. So, this is a really cool conversation to talk about. Like, so you're in like in between MVP and beta stage where a
Yeah.
lot of prop tech companies kind of exist. And
Yeah.
any lessons learned there? Like, I mean, had you had to pivot at all, or did your original idea kind of hold water, or where are you at
Yeah,
with?
no, no, no. It was good. So, I mean, from the beginning, I essentially, my business plan is like close to 200 pages. So we have an exhausting amount of industry research, product market fit type research, and our sort of like our sort of unique value proposition. So we're just sticking with our original plan because our number one priority is our end user. So we just want to make their lives easier because real estate's a people-based industry at the end of the day. So we're going to use
Right.
technologies to, grease that process a little better. But there's a real need for like an intelligently designed, well packaged, real estate application that helps just like property search and discovery, and
Mm-hmm.
the data that sort of supports that, and
Yep.
the yeah. So it's nice. So nothing yet.
Are you focused only on commercial? Is that where you're?
No,
No,
no. So
you're.
residential, everything. I mean,
Oh,
but
you're
commercial is
residential.
interesting just because a lot of commercial investors and portfolio managers really need that. There's no app out there that tells them, the diameter of the sewer that's underneath a vacant
Yeah.
property is available to, so, or, whether or not they're in a flood zone. I mean, that's a little easier to find, and, a little
Yeah.
easier for me to
Yeah, but
pull
it's
in.
all in separate systems and it's real fragmented.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no,
So
no.
as long as you're able to capture that data and present it in a useful and meaningful way, one
Mm-hmm.
that is engaging to the end user, then I think you're in good shape, at least a good starting point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean that I think this whole over the next couple of years, that's going to be there's a lot of I mean, look, it's a deep blue ocean in prop tech. There is
Yeah.
so many things that we can optimize and make more efficient, right? Real estate
Right.
search is just one,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and the whole thing around for a home buyer, that's all being reinvented, right? And so you
Yeah.
have Scoot and Evoca Blue, and you have Eugene's Chris AI, and you have
Yeah.
these different things where they're turning it on its head and it's becoming more of a buyer centric kind of process versus a property centric one, which I think is super cool. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I want. You AI little thing, go find it for me, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome, which is where it needs to be. Like,
Yeah.
the whole real estate search thing was, oh God, it was
Yeah.
so gross. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's basically like, we're sort of making the search and discovery process to begin with. Basically, just like we're reimagining it into like a research tool, right?
yeah,
So we just have to build that sort of like property research tool.
yes,
This
yeah,
sort of
for
house in
sure.
this area, within this diameter. It could be outside of this, but also too, what's exciting about like what we're working on is we're able to use all that new and interesting data that we're pulling together and sort of centralizing on a platform to, help, you know, home buyers, especially if they can't find exactly what they're looking for, because all these apps are pretty much set up for only that.
Mhm.
Here's my criteria, and this is what you'll find.
Right.
But we're able to actually say, hey, I know you wanted 3 bedrooms, but this one otherwise satisfies all your criteria with 2 bedrooms, and you can actually build on it. Here's how much it'll cost, and here's actually a simulation of how that property will look.
Yeah.
And then, forecast costs associated with that based on, local materials and local labor. You can
Yep.
connect those services later on, and make that sort of onboarding experience pretty easy.
Yeah.
Kind of get into that complete ecosystem type thing, and then,
Right.
and then project sort of like the return on investment there. And
Yeah. I mean,
it's,
the insights are going to be super cool. The
yeah,
ability to yeah. that whole process around the cycle time and what it takes to
Yeah.
go find a property should be condensed,
Yeah.
in half or at least down to like a third of what it used to take, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be, yeah, but that's one of the cool things that I think AI is going to truly help. But you know
Yep.
what's going to happen? Is that everybody's gonna the whole offer process is gonna have to get streamlined. I mean, you create efficiency in one area, then you realize all the other things that are broken.
Yeah. That's why I need the sort of virtual tours, because you're going to be making offers on places you've never seen, probably.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, no, for sure. And there's a lot of people, a lot of companies in the council that are doing that virtual touring thing, right? And
Yeah.
so they'll be, you can take one startup, lead it into the next startup that's helping, and then lead it into the next startup that's helping
Exactly.
fast, right?
Yeah,
Which
it's cool
which is
because
great.
you find those synergies,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
can accelerate our roadmaps,
yeah,
mutually.
yeah,
It's that's exciting. That's why I'm excited about Blueprint coming up, Blueprint
yeah,
Vegas 24, just because
yeah,
beyond just creating a network, you can actually just find people who are working on those things that are beneficial and speed things up, especially too because talent comes at a premium, and
mhm,
not
yeah.
everybody is a machine learning engineer, and are,
I know.
are probably going to be working for
They're all
OpenAI.
going to be working for me. I get
Yeah,
all of
there
them.
you go.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
It's
no, for sure. Yeah, I'll be a Blueprint too. Blueprint's awesome. It should be a
yeah,
pretty cool time. But yeah, no, yeah, that's the thing is there's not enough coders out there. I mean,
yeah,
and AI and ML, there are engineers coming out, but what I'm finding is they're all like 26 and younger. And
yeah,
so, the missing piece will be the person that can translate what the product need is
yeah,
to those people in an efficient way that it speaks both languages. That's going to be how you
yeah,
accelerate your tech, right? Is just
yeah.
having
Like a
that
technical
product
project manager.
person that can really speak those languages. And so there's a
Yeah,
lot of older coders
yeah,
that can probably fill that role. That if
yeah,
they don't want to go learn AI and ML, but they can speak code, right? And
yeah,
they can become a product person. They just need to
yeah,
learn the industry for
yeah.
sure.
Just be in that world and just kind of understand,
Yeah.
how things are done, and yeah, yeah, just understand sort of like what the trends are and
Yeah.
just communicate them. So yeah, technical project managers, those are amazing.
Yeah, I know for sure. And that'll definitely speed up everything. I mean, a lot of the founders now, or not a lot, but the ones that can go pretty fast are those ones that come from real estate. They know what the product needs to be. So you don't have
Yeah.
to guess, or the people who spend the time like you did to do a ton of research up front.
Yep.
So you don't have to like pivot or change your product market fit, or even if
Yeah.
you did pivot, it's a very slight pivot
Yeah.
because you knew what the problem was going in.
Right.
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
so yeah, a lot of founders don't do that either. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Just
don't
talk to
take the
people.
time to talk to people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's like it's such a a foreign concept. You got to talk to a potential customer and see what the
Yeah.
hell they really want. A lot
Yeah.
of people just go build stuff off of a guess, and then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it didn't work. Well, shocker, you
Yeah.
never
I know.
asked somebody
Yeah.
if they really wanted it, and then also you
Yeah.
didn't ask them how much they're willing to pay for it. Like
Yeah.
you can go build it, but if they're really not willing to pay for anything for it, then why build it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's amazing. Just a simple 15 minutes,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what
Do
do they
some
need to
market
help?
research.
Yeah. Like I don't want anything from them except for just a little bit of insight into what can make their lives a little bit easier. And,
Yeah,
once you
yeah,
have that, kind of take them along with you in a, a easily digestible and way, passively really.
sure. Yeah,
And
no, for sure. Yeah,
involve them in the betas, and maybe they'll be part of the founding user pool that
yeah,
sort of grandfather into a uh, a free sort of tier, or
yeah.
whatever it is, a
It's not
subscription.
a, it's not a hard process to do. It's just I don't know why more people don't do it. And you wonder why like 9 out of 10 startups fail. It's because they didn't bother to
Yeah,
go through the process to begin with, right?
yeah,
And Mark, it's one thing I will say. I am hook 'em horns, I am
yeah,
I'm a part of the University of Texas
yeah,
master's program in technology commercialization. And it's exactly what they're teaching us. I mean, they teach you
Right.
design thinking, they teach you market research, they teach you product development, they teach you all these things. And it's exactly that. For the first semester, it was, okay, how many people did you interview?
Yeah.
Right. And then, and I was like, well, I didn't interview anybody because I already knew everything.
Yeah.
Well, stupid me. I
Yeah.
don't know everything. I mean, I
Yeah.
know a lot, but I don't know
Yeah.
everything. And so as soon as I started talking to people, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we could do this too. Oh, yeah, this one's more important than this one. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Huge for prioritization. Yeah.
yeah.
Huge. For that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for
I absolutely agree. It's yeah, a lot of, I mean, forget about like exit strategies or sort of like, financial forecast, cost forecasting, or risk management plans. Like people, I've seen startups without any real, no comprehensive understanding of what the product actually is, or an ability
right.
to sort of explain it in a coherent, concise way.
Yeah,
Or
for sure.
yeah. So in my mind, since I've seen that in the past, I'm like, all right, well, we'll definitely do that. And we'll take a little extra time, and we'll just always have a plan so that when things do change, we're able to adapt to it pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, yeah, and it also the cool thing about what you did as far as the market research goes is, and you have those end customers in mind, right? Like your first set of customers, kind of because you went through and talked to them all. Is they can get in real early and help you craft your product, and so
Yeah,
that you have something that's really super useful right away.
yeah,
But then you also, if you truly it's that feedback loop that was
yeah,
super useful for me because I had properties that I could test, I could guinea pig on, right?
yeah,
Not every
yes,
prop tech company has that. And
yeah,
so,
yeah. Just start with a
yeah,
small demographic, like
yeah,
geographical area. That's it.
yeah.
Maybe
And if you
one property.
one property, that's it. And if you can
Yeah.
just guinea pig it and tinker it
Yes.
and break it and then fix it as you're going, that
Yep.
just accelerates your whole product development
Yeah.
cycle. And
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I know a lot of prop tech companies don't have that, but I was able to do that, right? And
Yeah.
so, but getting the feedback is what
Right.
you have to be. It has to be crucial to you early in a startup. And a lot of people just they get focused down here on development, and they're not
Yeah.
asking everybody what they need to do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to have
Right.
two heads on your
Yeah.
body, talking to
Yeah.
customers and looking at your stuff and
Yeah, get your first user. A lot of people think about
yeah.
scaling and they're forecasting, and they're thinking about sort of like what they're going to do 4 to 5 years from now. Um, yeah, that's great, but I don't know how confident I'd be in what any of that is if you're not really concerned about getting your first user, just having one person interact with it, one person that's part of your demographic, and
Yeah. And they're really like an unofficial co-founder. I mean, they're telling you what you need to know. They're your unofficial chief product officer, right? Like
yeah,
before you have one. I mean, they're telling you what they need. They're
yeah,
telling you what sucks and what's broken and oh, and can it do this? And they'll give you all the ideas. Like it's like
yes,
the coolest thing
yeah.
ever. Right?
And if you lay
Uh,
great found work, if your data architecture is solid, then I mean it's easy to iterate,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, oh, let me just
exactly.
turn that on. I
Yeah,
don't have to really
yeah.
build it. I just have to
Yeah, for
tweak it.
sure. Yeah, and I think that it's a good time for a lot of the founders who are starting now because they're not having to reinvent their tech like I had to, right? I mean, initially when we were building it, it wasn't AI enabled. Like it wasn't. And then we
Yeah,
just really had to go through the painful process of changing all of it, right? Because you have to be AI enabled. There has to be some AI thing a part of your software. And if it is not, you are not going to make it. I
yeah,
mean, just get over yourself, figure it out, right? Because
yeah,
we had to go through that for like the last
yeah,
year of trying to like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
But that's why I love like OpenAI and those other sort of AI companies, just because they're making it really easy for you to just kind of fork what exactly they have. And OpenAI won't do that
Yeah.
for you, even though they might. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, you could just
Yeah.
over what you have and then just sort of supplement it with your real estate specific data, and then all of a sudden you have a really tailored, customized
Right.
framework to start with.
Yeah. And it just, yeah. And then the development of it is
Yeah,
really pretty fast, right? And
yeah,
and then you have to, I mean, obviously put some guardrails on it because you don't want to
yeah,
give away the farm.
yeah,
But yeah, but that whole piece of understanding how you AI enable your tech that's that's the lessons we learned over the last, 6, 8 months, geez Louise. I
yeah.
mean, it's been an interesting road for
Right.
sure. And it slowed us down from launching. because that's what we spent a good amount of time on, is like, okay. And when it came out, I was like, oh man, yeah. I mean, and where we're focused on is like on the data capture side, right? I mean,
Yeah.
using computer
Yeah.
vision. And I think in real estate, that's a key
It
component.
goes a long way. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
huge because that's
that's
the
huge.
only way you're gonna differentiate yourself or give
Yes.
user value. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So where do
Yeah.
you see the like, I mean, you're just now starting to launch, you got your MVP,
Yeah.
getting into beta.
Yeah.
So like picture yourself in a year, where do you think you're at?
Yeah. So I think we're pretty good. I think honestly, it's man, we won't be that complete prop tech ecosystem. That's going to be like 5, 10 years down the line. But I mean, we're going to have a robust. I mean, we're worried about the user, right, and making things a little bit easier for them. And when we talk about users, we're talking about buyer, like I mentioned earlier, buyers, sellers, investors, portfolio managers, and eventually like brokers and things like that. But we're just going to have a sort of like property, a well thought out, intelligently designed, simple interfaced mobile application that you can pull up and identify properties, whether they're residential, commercial, all different types of classes. And you could find them, again, like you mentioned earlier, 70, 90% quicker and, put an offer in 90% quicker. And then beyond that, then we sort of get into the sort of simulations and visualizations and the sort of detect stuff, just because there are tons of sort of swim lanes that involve that in the R&D, and as long as we have them sort of like thoughtfully planned out, and we'll just ship them in stages, and all of a sudden it will become just a search and discovery tool that, frankly, without a unique proprietary data set, it won't look like it'll look just like everything else you find in the market. It won't be any different than Redfin or Zillow, but you have to have this sort of like differentiating features right off the bat. So I think we'll have that there in a
Right.
year from now. Something we'll have use that, we'll have
Yeah.
good use for, at least people who are willing to use it, just because we
Yeah.
would have onboarded a handful of our target sort of personas on the way. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm not in a rush. I mean, this industry hasn't been in a rush forever. So why,
I know.
why am I the
Why?
guy?
That's interesting. So you decided to take on Redfin and Zillow and all the other
Yeah.
people. Yeah. So yeah, good for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And
That's not
it's,
a giant, man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
but they're sleeping,
I
like
know. I
their
know.
data's
That's the big
trash, like, or, maybe I should be a little more, professional, but it's frustrating, right?
yeah.
Maybe that's a tip, if I were to offer one, build something that you want to use, and then kind of, build something you want to use, and someone else is going to want to use it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because if you're buying a property, it's honestly a frustrating process. Just because, I mean, your offer in your first place is going to go through. You're going to get beat out, so forget about that. But just finding the right one to begin with is a
Yeah.
challenge in and of itself, because you're always sort of settling. So we're going to have a product that you're not going to feel like you're settling. You're going to find the right property in the right place, and it may not be at first what exactly you're looking for, but
Mhm.
this is going to be an intelligent enough system that can sort of like help you visualize what exactly you're looking for, and
Yeah.
it'll be delivered and packaged into a nice little mobile application, and desktop if you're old school. But
Yeah, I know for sure. But 90% of transactions are mobile now. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's mobile, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, but it's cool though, because a lot of people are working on a lot of great things, and I was looking through attendees at Blueprint just to see what they're working
Mhm.
on, whether they're
Yeah.
startups or service providers,
Yeah.
and that there's a lot of like secondary services, or supporting services that'll sort of help ship your features that'll monetize. So
Mhm.
just a great, I don't know. I enjoy those sorts of sort of exploratory sort of like conversations and hanging out, just because it's not hard to find people who work on interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's lots of them. Like it is true. And yeah, and their tech might be cool. They might not make it as a company, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, that's the hardest part about startups, right? Is
Yeah.
they might have a product, they might not know how to run a business. I mean, it's
Right.
a sad fact of life and is what
Yeah.
it is, but that doesn't mean it's not a cool product, right? And so
Yeah, yeah,
take a
yeah.
look
You
at
may
that
not go public
product.
either, like
Yeah.
everyone thinks they're going to, come in and if you do, that's great. Congrats. But, there's nothing wrong with, having a small manageable private company that is good at one thing or a couple of things and, partnering with those giants, like I mentioned earlier, you can go after those giants, but, I'll still do business with them, because
Of
I know
course
what
you
the
will.
gaps are.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's so much you have to focus on as a startup founder. Nailing down your exit strategy right away
Yeah.
is stupid because it's not going to be what you think it is. So don't even bother.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
do want to have some kind of an end in mind, but
yeah,
it's and IPOing is not what it used to be. Like
nope.
back in the day, like when everybody was like, "Oh, I want to be Amazon when I IPO," and now my stock is up 85,000%, right?
Yes.
Not happening. That game has changed. It's
Yeah,
not that anymore. Right now, it's venture and PE. And then,
yes,
like so my friends at SmartRent IPO'd, right? And what the phenomenon that's happening is at your last valuation round of where you get PE, that's pretty much where you IPO. You're not
yeah,
going to get this big bump from
no,
being IPO, and then actually your valuation drops post IPO. I mean, it's
yeah, it
that's what's
does.
happening today,
Yeah,
and you have to. So there needs to be this shift of okay, if you're going to IPO or you're going to get to a stage where that is, you have to have either 4 or 5 other products in mind. How are you going to grow? How are you going to
yeah,
change what you're doing for that to happen?
yeah,
But if you have that, some PE company will just want to keep investing in you. So
yeah,
sometimes an
yeah,
IPO is a signal that nobody wants to invest in you anymore.
yeah. Of course, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
just like
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
sad, but
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I have no ego when it comes to this stuff too. There's a world in which I'm like, yeah, I'll sell tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't my only thing going on. We have plenty.
yeah, no, I know, right? I know
Um,
for sure.
but
Yeah.
but no, it's I don't know. It's just really enjoyable though. It's a lot of work.
It's super fun. I love it. I don't think I
Yeah,
could do anything else, but because it's
yeah,
so challenging. I mean, we're entrepreneurs. We're made different we're made from a different cloth. We
yeah,
think differently. We want to take risks. We want to, and some people like I want to grow you from 0 to 20 million and I'm out, man. I don't want to get bigger. I don't want to create
yeah,
systems and processes. I just want to fly by the seat of my pants, right?
yeah,
And that's the environment they live in and love, right?
yeah,
But when you get down to, oh yeah, we got to create processes and document things like, they don't want to do that, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Kind
as long as you know your lane, stay there, right? You
yeah,
just keep
easy.
creating businesses and keep creating stuff and
Yeah,
change the world your way. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
like,
that's another thing. Yeah, knowing your lane. I mean, like, I
yes.
feel like that's there's a lot. It's maybe I don't think it's as easy as it sounds, because you have to really sit down and really articulate what exactly you are and have that identity. And that's a fun process, and that's a tough process because that's
Mhm.
where the devil's advocacy comes along. You got to
Right.
really be tough for yourself. And but once you do have a well articulated lane and understand all the risks associated with that, whether it's market risks, sure, but like long term I guess hypothetical risks, like, fine.
Mhm.
But you're thinking about it, I guess you
Yeah.
should be like, you should do so much research, it should kind of scare you.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. I
and
totally
then,
agree. And
yeah,
then,
and then don't have any ego just to abandon it, just be like, all right, let's just do this. Let's do like a couple
well,
rounds of
yeah, that's
whatever.
true. And then, I mean, you'll really kind of find your lane, I think, when you go start asking for money, because people will pigeonhole you and they'll tell you what your lane is. They'll be like,
Yeah,
"But you're really good at this.
yeah,
This is where you should stay. This is where I
yeah,
see you are." And
right.
then you don't want to believe it, but
Yeah.
I mean, if they're looking at you with a non-biased perspective, it
Oh
does
yeah.
get you really self-aware. And so,
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, you got to have that 360 well-rounded
yes,
understanding, that awareness. I'm all about tell me everything. Give me your worst. Because
yes.
I'm pretty sure I've heard all of it. So no, that's perfect. Because you got to take that down. I mean, that's perspective. That's sort of like,
Yeah.
if you're talking to somebody and it's one of your target users, and they fall within one of your personas, where you do that sort of psychoanalysis, and they don't, and that doesn't exactly align with what you thought, then you're in big trouble. But the good news is you've written it down, and you found an opportunity to
Right.
sort of realign, because otherwise that would
Yeah.
go over your head, and that's
Yeah. I
no
mean,
point.
part of the research is figuring out what you're not, right? Or who you're not
Yeah.
serving, or who you're,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's all part of it. I mean, that's super cool. That is awesome. So,
Yeah, it's fun.
so your platform's out now for users? Do you have users and sign up, or are you still in beta?
So, I'd say it'd be a reach to say it's beta. I'd say like it's
Oh,
closed off. We got a couple people. So, I mean,
okay.
I have a couple test flights going on iOS. I have an APK ready on Android.
Okay.
And again, you look at it and you go like, all right, but if we're going to sit there and try to make a perfect product without sort of getting it out there, I mean, that's a mistake. I mean, put something
Yep.
out to the point where,
Put something out.
5 years from now, you're going to cringe over it, and
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Everybody's afraid to put out an ugly baby. You have to put out an ugly baby. It just
yeah,
has to do something, right?
yeah, yeah. And I'd
And
say, show
then
me your
once it
baby.
does something, then you can iterate and you can
Yeah,
make it better and it's probably better to put out an ugly baby because what you
yeah,
think is perfect is not somebody else's version of perfect, right?
right.
They're gonna refine it for you.
Yeah,
So, and that's
exactly.
what you want. You want your customers to refine it for you. You've got a base idea,
Yeah,
stick it out
yeah.
there,
Yeah, yeah.
see what
How
they
how
tell
do
you.
I communicate in the UI and the design what this is supposed to do for anybody and how is it valuable? You're going to have an idea of what that is, and it's not going to be anything
Yeah,
like what you
yeah.
want it to be.
Right.
But
You
that's why it's
can't
so important.
not be a perfectionist in a startup. Like you
Yeah,
just can't. And but
yeah.
that's a hold a
That's a
lot
tough
of
that's a
that.
tough pill to swallow,
Yes, it
especially
is. It's
you know.
like, oh God, this is awful. Oh, they gotta
Yeah,
see it. Oh, I mean, I do
yeah, right.
all my demos.
Yeah, it's like you guys don't know that I know the risk going. I'm putting myself out there. As if like what I mean.
Exactly. It's
You'd
like
be like, this
almost
guy's
going, here's
clueless.
my kimono. And
Yeah,
here's everything
yeah,
underneath
yeah,
it. Oh
yeah.
my gosh. And it can be very
Yeah.
stressful as a founder.
Disclaimer, it's going to be rough, but I
Yeah.
know that. At least give me that credit. Part of the process.
No, for sure. I mean, but it's, yeah, like we are definitely from Mars as startup
Yeah.
founders. We're willing to
Yeah.
like create and change and be vulnerable in front of customers and have them
Yeah.
tell us all awful things about us. And we just keep going. We take the
Yeah.
abuse and just keep going because we know it's
Yeah.
going to be cool one day, right?
Yeah, of course. And the thing too is that what I like about, this sort of like, I don't know, I feel like the real estate industry, the spectrum of people associated with it or participate in it I don't know why. I feel like it's a diverse spectrum and it's fun. And it's not like, I don't know, I don't see as much of an ego in it than I found in other places. And it seems like it's something that's a place that is, perfect for collaboration, which is
Yeah.
necessary in a world in which you're trying to deliver technology to it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes technology is hard to embrace, but you know,
No, no, for sure. And the real estate industry really hasn't. I mean, and now that they're getting their butts handed to them because of the recession, we're not in a recession. No one's called it yet, but we're in a real estate recession. Like, come on, be
yeah,
real.
yeah,
We are.
it's insane.
And, we're so sensitive we're the most sensitive in industry to,
Yeah,
to interest rates. Right. And so, when they started going up, we're in this quandary where the prices have to adjust and there's a lot of people that got caught in that bad cycle and they're underwater and they can't even refi at the same rates. They have to buy into their refinances. I mean,
yeah,
like this is what's happening.
yeah, yeah.
So,
You should give those guys a fighting chance.
yeah, exactly. So prop tech will save the day.
Yeah,
It will because it's gonna, now everybody has to take a really hard look at how they operate and it has to be different and it can't be the same going forward.
yep,
So it's a good time for prop tech.
yeah,
Not a lot of people are investing in it or not a lot of people are buying into it from a customer standpoint, unless it just like you got to knock it out of the park and give them budget, right? You
yeah,
have to be able to save them money from day one, then they'll buy your solution, right? Which
yeah,
which forces us as prop tech people to really look at what we're creating
yeah,
and are we doing that? And if we're not doing that, if we're some fluffy, nice to have thing, you're not going to make it,
yeah,
right? You can
yeah,
come in day one and create value, which is
yep,
what every software company should do.
yeah,
Then yeah. So I think it's a cool time right now. We're all
yeah,
like everybody's resetting and how they look at things, which I just love. It's just like, like we were talking before, I come from a family of troublemakers. Let's just stir stuff up and change it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Let's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's do, not too serious, nothing too crazy, but we're
Nothing
gonna
different,
come in and
but
we're
take a
gonna ask you
look.
to be uncomfortable a little bit. You
Yeah.
try this out, make sure you interact with it, and you
Yeah.
promise me you'll consider adopting it, just because we have them for too long and now we're really paying for it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a nice little sort of, I don't know,
Yeah. We're
wide
right.
wake.
The
Yeah,
industry's ripe for disruption for
yeah,
sure. I
yeah.
mean,
So yeah, it's exciting. It's
and I
exciting.
think they're kind of begging for it. I think they're
Yeah,
actually actively looking for those disruptors out there doing really
yeah.
cool, innovative things.
Yeah, and hey, like prop chain is open to, if prop tech genius is willing to be brought along in this process, and really document and publicize that this embarrassing process. We're open to it, so let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Right. I mean,
Yeah,
no, it's
usually those
great.
things how we got
Yeah.
creamed this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I mean, it does end up, I have this thing on TikTok where it's like a diary of a startup founder. And
Oh,
so
there
I'll
you go.
post I post every once in a while, hey, this is what the hell happened today.
Yeah, it's like always like I'm always in tears. You know what I mean? I
I
imagine
know
myself.
it's like I got beat up today, or it's like, hey, this is what I'm learning today. I
Yeah.
don't post them very often, but I do post them out
Oh, you
there.
should. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fun.
it's fun and it definitely interesting for sure. And yeah, but it's been a fun ride. But yeah, no, it's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
look at that, man. We're almost at the top of our hour. We're getting there.
Thank goodness. How'd I do? I think we did all right.
You did okay.
There we go.
You're
Nice.
hanging in there. You did fine.
Nice. I
Good,
speak with
good.
candor. There's not gonna be no secrets.
Yeah.
You're just gonna
Yeah.
get
That's
what
kind of how we
exactly.
roll, man. That's how
Yeah.
we roll in the council for sure.
Yeah.
So tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Yeah. So, oh man, honestly, that's a good. So, I mean, visit our link. Visit our LinkedIn. Visit our Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitter
Twitter.
handle,
You're on
Facebook.
Twitter? That's the first person ever said Twitter. You're on
Oh
Twitter.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Am I showing my age? Am
Yeah,
I?
I know, I
Oh my
know.
goodness. Shoot. Sorry. Catch me on X with Elon. No, it's so our handles are always prop chain app, one word.
Okay.
And if you want to catch me on my personal profiles, that's fine. So LinkedIn,
Yeah,
Kevin Sonnet.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, still got my personal Twitter. You can even catch us on our website, which is there we go, right here. Hit that contact form.
There you go. There you go. Look at that.
And
Prop chain.
maybe I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. I don't know if it's going to read on the
Yeah,
video,
it's
but
kind
we'll
of,
see.
I have bad eyes, man. So like, and
Yeah,
I'm sure anybody who's like younger than me probably can read it.
I'll take that. I know I can't, but maybe that's a lesson learned. Maybe I'll add that to the agenda later. Just be like, all right, listen, let's blow that up a little bit.
Yeah,
46
really.
font.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, I love this. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's been great. Well, yeah, and then I guess yes, we should get back together and so as your journey goes and kind of see
Yeah.
where you're at and
Yeah,
all
just see, wins and losses. We'll talk about them, and we'll talk about
yeah.
what we're trying to do. Let's make me accountable. You're going to ask me,
Oh, hey, there you go.
yeah, what are you going to be? What's coming? What's going to happen? And tell me how it's going to play out. And you'll put me on the record, and then we'll see.
And then you
You
have to
know?
actually follow
Yeah,
through.
yeah. And I'll start back. I'll become a
I'm your
politician.
accountability partner. There you go.
There
Yeah.
you go. Perfect. Yeah, awesome. That sounds good. And actually, I mean that. So just let me know, and maybe we can collaborate on that, and maybe we'll use our prop tech council
Yeah,
dashboard to do that, or maybe to get the conversation going. Perfect.
exactly.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
All right. See ya. Have a good
Yeah.
one. Bye.
Bye.